God says, you must stop this as soon as possible. This is about the home you are living in. God is trying to reach you. You have 5 minutes left. Please open this quickly today before 10 p.m. If you feel something moving in your heart right now, even gently, it may not be coincidence. It could be the soft whisper of God calling out to you, trying to stir something within your spirit that may have been buried beneath the noise of the world, the weight of fear, or the ache of loneliness. You are not reading this by mistake. God sees the very place where you're standing. He knows the condition of your heart and the atmosphere within your home. He knows what has been broken, what has been forgotten, and what still quietly hopes to be healed. Type Amen if you believe. There are moments when the Lord doesn't shout over the chaos. He simply waits. He watches your hands as they hold on tightly to things that are hurting you. He watches the heavy thoughts that come late at night and the tears that no one else sees. And yet, He waits not to judge you, but to hold you. He waits with a grace so tender that even the most wounded parts of you can rest safely in Him. The truth is, the home you're living in right now might look okay from the outside, but He sees the unrest inside, the arguments, the anxiety, the silence, the longing. He sees the prayers whispered in hallways, the hopes that fill your children's rooms, and the pain hidden behind closed doors. Sometimes we ignore the gentle promptings of His Spirit. We say, not today, or maybe later, but the clock keeps ticking. The days pass. And the ache remains. But what if today is the day He wants you to truly listen? What if this is the moment you let Him come into your heart, not just on Sundays or during desperate prayers, but into your home, your habits, your everyday moments? God is not trying to scare you, He's trying to wake you gently before the weight becomes unbearable. He's reaching out to heal what has been strained within your walls, to restore peace where there has been tension, and to bring back light into the rooms that have grown dim with bitterness or sorrow. Maybe there are things you've allowed into your home that have no place near the peace of God. Maybe there are conversations that poison hearts, entertainment that quietly pulls your family away from truth, or spiritual neglect that has created cracks in the foundation. It's not about blame. It's about freedom. It's about returning to a place where love reigns and the Spirit of God is welcome, not just in words but in practice. Type 1111 if you trust in God. What would happen if tonight, you paused everything else and invited Him in again, not in formality, but in sincerity? Just quietly spoke to Him, told Him you're tired of carrying what you've been carrying, tired of trying to fix everything yourself, tired of pretending things are fine when your soul is screaming for peace. Imagine your home filled with warmth again, laughter that isn't forced, dinners around the table that feel like joy instead of routine. Imagine your children hearing not just your voice, but feeling the peace of Christ through you. Imagine waking up not with dread, but with quiet confidence that something has shifted. God isn't asking you to be perfect before you let Him in. He's asking you to open the door. He's asking you to believe that what's broken can be made whole. That what's dark can be filled with light. That even the habits that have silently eroded your home can be overcome through Him. You might feel like it's too late. Like the pain has already rooted itself too deeply. But nothing is ever too far for the hand of God. He moves through rooms. He walks through silence. He sits with you in the living room, in the kitchen, even when no one else sees. He is the guest who never forces himself in but always waits for an invitation. And when you do open the door, truly open it, something happens. You start to see things differently. You begin to forgive easier, speak kinder, hope stronger. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Because God doesn't visit to observe. He comes to dwell. He comes to remain. And when He does, your home becomes more than a building. It becomes a sanctuary. So today, even if you're unsure, even if your heart is hesitant, just speak to Him. Sit in the quiet and whisper, "God, I need you in my home." That simple prayer can move heaven. That small act can change the entire atmosphere around you. Type 555 if you are listening to Him. The home you live in is not just where you sleep, eat, and spend your time. It's a sacred space. It holds your memories, your sorrows, your celebrations, and your quiet moments when you think no one notices. But God notices. He sees the weight on your shoulders. He hears what is unspoken between walls. He knows every crack in the foundation that no one else sees. He knows the past that built it, the present that fills it, and the future that waits for healing to begin. Maybe lately, your home has felt more like a battlefield than a sanctuary. Maybe the voices are too loud, the silence too painful, the emotions too raw to manage. Maybe love feels like it's slipping through your hands, and the comfort you once felt under your own roof has become distant and unfamiliar. You're not alone in that feeling, and you're not hopeless. What if wealth was never about luck, but a hidden brain signal buried in CIA files? This frequency is opening doors, attracting opportunities, and changing lives quickly. Thousands are already using it to attract wealth like never before. Click the link in the description and comments now and activate the money-attracting brain wave today. God never intended your home to be a place of unrest. It was always meant to be a place of safety, of connection, of spiritual warmth that carries through each room like sunlight touching every shadow. But slowly, distractions creep in. We get tired. We make space for things that don't bring life. We get busy and forget that our homes are not just physical, they are spiritual too. He is calling you not to feel guilty, but to return to Him. To see again what your home can become when it is led by peace, grounded in prayer, and filled with grace. You don't have to fix everything at once. You only need to start with one step. That step is opening your heart again to God and inviting Him into your space. He knows about the arguments that keep repeating themselves like broken records. He knows about the child who is growing quiet, the spouse who feels unseen, the parents who feel overwhelmed, and the soul inside you that is begging for rest. He is not blind to any of it. He weeps when you weep. He reaches when you fall. He waits when you withdraw. He wants to remind you that even if things feel shattered, they are not beyond His healing. A broken home does not scare Him. A hurting family does not push Him away. He draws near to those who are weary, who are willing to say, "I can't do this without you." And in that simple surrender, miracles begin. Not always in loud, dramatic ways, but in quiet changes that shift everything. You may start to speak differently, with more patience. You may begin to see each person in your home through the lens of compassion instead of frustration. You may discover a deeper awareness of what truly matters. And those small shifts will begin to repair the things that seem too broken to mend. Type 222 if you welcome God into your home. Even if you feel like the only one in your household who wants change, God can work through you. Your prayers matter. Your presence matters. The way you walk in faith, even silently, can plant seeds that grow in the hearts around you. God doesn't need everyone to agree at once to begin His work. He simply needs one heart that's open. You are that heart. You are the doorway through which His love can enter. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for everyone to be on board. Just start with Him. Speak to Him in the kitchen as you clean up. Whisper your heart to Him while you fold clothes, drive your car, or sit alone with your coffee. Invite Him into those everyday moments. They are not too small for His presence. And as He enters, something beautiful begins to happen. The fear starts to lift. The tension begins to soften. The atmosphere slowly shifts, because where God is, peace follows. Where He is welcomed, love grows. And even if things don't change overnight, you will feel Him with you. That alone is enough to keep going. There is still time. You haven't missed your chance. The clock might feel like it's running out, but God exists beyond time. He honors your now. He honors your decision to listen today, to open the door, to begin again. His Spirit doesn't come to accuse you. He comes to renew you. To remind you that your home is not forgotten, your family is not too far gone, and your heart still matters deeply to Him. This isn't about being religious. It's about being real with God. It's about recognizing that you need something greater than yourself to restore what's broken. It's about surrendering what has not worked and saying, God, I trust you to lead my home from now on. No matter what your past looks like, or how many mistakes have been made, God can still make beauty rise from the ashes. He can still use your home as a place of healing, joy, and faith. Let Him write a new chapter for you, one filled with peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, but on His presence that never fades. Even now, as you breathe and read these words, His Spirit is near. He is with you, closer than the thoughts in your mind. All He asks is that you let Him in, not with fear, but with hope. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to be willing. He will guide the rest. Type yes to affirm you're ready to hear Him. Some things in life slip in quietly. They don't make a sound as they enter, but slowly they shift the atmosphere. Bit by bit, they change how you speak, how you pray, how you feel in your own home. And over time, peace becomes harder to find. Smiles begin to feel heavier. Laughter feels further away. But God, in His deep tenderness, doesn't leave you there. He comes close, not to condemn you, but to help you see what has crept in and how to let it go. Maybe it's unforgiveness that's been sitting silently between you and someone you live with. Maybe it's bitterness that's grown roots through the years. Perhaps it's the constant noise from things that do not feed your spirit, voices from screens, songs that stir up sadness, words that pull your heart away from faith. Maybe it's habits that feel harmless on the surface, but they're slowly draining your soul. God sees it all. And yet, He does not withdraw. He draws near. Because He knows that even though these things feel tangled, they can be undone. He is not afraid of what's in your home. He is ready to help you clean it out, to sweep the corners of your heart, to make room for peace again. There's something deeply holy about a home filled with God's presence. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It means it's filled with grace. A home led by the Spirit doesn't mean arguments never happen or pain doesn't exist. It means there is always a path to healing, always a door open to reconciliation, always a whisper of hope no matter how dark the night. A 7-second at-home ritual, scientifically proven by neuroscience labs and hidden for decades in CIA files, is now public, and people are seeing money flow into their lives. Scientists say it activates a brain pathway linked to abundance. Click the link in the comments below before this knowledge disappears again. God is gently telling you to stop turning away from the small nudges He's been placing on your heart. Stop silencing the still, small voice that has been guiding you. You've felt it before, the hesitation before saying something harsh, the discomfort before opening that app, the ache when you sense you've drifted from prayer. Those aren't accidents. They are divine invitations back to His peace. Type 1919 to receive miracles into your home. Even your home's silence speaks to God. The quiet, aching spaces where love used to flow freely. The tiredness in your body that hasn't been from just work but from emotional weight. The rooms that feel cold not from temperature but from tension. The moments when it feels like something sacred is missing, but you can't quite name what. That's where He wants to come in. He wants to be invited into your home again, not just through a quick blessing before meals, but into the actual rhythm of your household. Into your routines, your family talks, your evening moments. He wants to walk through your living room with His peace, sit at your table with His joy, rest in your bedroom with His comfort, and enter your children's rooms with His protection. You don't need to have everything figured out to start this. You don't need a perfect family or a spotless house. All you need is a willing heart. Just say, "God, I welcome you in." That sentence holds power. It breaks the barrier. It turns the spiritual atmosphere from one of tension to one of invitation. Maybe the people around you won't understand. Maybe they'll roll their eyes or dismiss it. But that's okay. Because God works with what you give Him. Even a small space in your heart is enough for Him to begin. He doesn't need an audience, He only needs honesty. As you begin to surrender those things that are no longer serving your soul, something incredible happens. You begin to see with new eyes. You notice what needs to leave not out of guilt, but because you love peace too much to let it go. You turn off certain shows, not because someone told you to, but because you can feel they stir your spirit the wrong way. You choose softer words, not out of fear, but out of desire to protect the hearts around you. This is what it means to walk with God inside your home. It's not about rules, it's about relationship. It's not about image, it's about presence. It's about making space for Him to move freely, to guide gently, to restore fully. He knows that some rooms in your home may carry memories that hurt. Some corners might hold regret. But he is not afraid of any of it. He is a healer. He brings beauty from brokenness. He transforms the ashes of yesterday into strength for today. He wants to help you let go of what's been weighing you down, so that your home becomes a place of rest again. The shift begins in the spiritual. Before anything changes on the outside, something sacred happens inside. You begin to speak life instead of frustration. You begin to pray over rooms that once felt empty. You anoint your house with the belief that God is welcome there, and when He is welcome, things begin to change. So don't wait. Don't brush it off. Don't say, maybe next week. The whisper is now. The nudge is now. The invitation is now. Let Him in. Let Him go room by room, heart by heart, moment by moment. You don't have to do it all in one day. You just have to begin. Because this is about more than a physical space, it's about your peace, your family's well-being, your soul's safety. It's about returning to a place where God is not a visitor, but the one who dwells with you always. He is not knocking for His sake, but for yours. He sees what's been slipping through the cracks, and He's asking you to come back before it turns to dust. Type 1212 if you walk by faith and not by sight. There are homes that feel full but are quietly empty. The furniture might be in place, the lights might be on, and the conversations might happen daily, but deep beneath the surface, there is a heaviness that no one wants to speak about. This kind of emptiness doesn't come from lack of things. It comes from the absence of God's peace. The absence of His daily presence is like air slowly leaking from a balloon. You don't notice it at first, but soon everything begins to droop. God doesn't ask for your perfection. He asks for your surrender. There is something powerful that happens when you finally whisper, God, I can't do this on my own anymore. In that moment, He doesn't come to criticize your delay or lecture you about your past. He comes to wrap you in mercy. He comes to bring light into places that have sat in darkness for too long. Your home may have carried generational burdens, old wounds passed from parent to child, old habits that have lingered like shadows. But even these don't scare Him. He is not asking you to carry the weight of your family's history forever. He wants to give you the strength to break the cycle, to let His light be the first light that leads every step forward. When your home becomes a place of prayer, everything begins to change. Not instantly, not dramatically at first, but gradually, like sunlight pouring through curtains after a long night. You begin to feel it in the way arguments slow down and understanding grows. You sense it in the way meals shared at the table carry more laughter and less tension. You see it in your children's eyes, in your own breath, in the way your heart starts to rest again. You may think it's too late, that you've already let too much chaos in, already been too distracted, already gone too long without letting God be the center. But His mercy isn't bound by time. His love does not keep score. The moment you welcome Him back, it's like He never left. He steps in fully, joyfully, and with every intention to restore all that has been lost. Type 666 if you trust Jesus to carry your home. A classified 7-second morning ritual, once buried in CIA files, is quietly transforming financial lives. In under 30 seconds, it helps shift the mind from scarcity to wealth, with many reporting surprise income and peace. Click the link in the comments below before the page is removed. God doesn't want your home to be a place where people just survive. He longs for it to be a place where hearts thrive, where love runs deep, where healing is real, and where joy is not just a guest, but a resident. That kind of home isn't built by effort alone, it's built by faith. It's built by putting Him first again, day by day, moment by moment. And putting Him first doesn't require perfection or a strict routine. It begins with intention. It begins when you take one room and say, "Lord, let peace begin here." Maybe it's your bedroom, where anxious thoughts try to chase you through the night. Maybe it's your kitchen, where rushed mornings replace moments of gratitude. Maybe it's your living room, where silence has taken the place of real connection. Wherever it is, start there. Invite Him in. Speak His name softly. Say, "Jesus, I want you here." There's no need for grand gestures. Just let your heart open. Lay down your burdens. He's not distant. He's not hiding. He's waiting. His Spirit longs to dwell with you, to take the heaviness out of your air, to bring back the laughter, the music, the warmth you forgot you missed. Even the things you think are too small to matter to God, your frustrations with daily chores, your exhaustion, your longing for deeper connection, He cares about them all. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You simply need to let Him be part of it all. There may be habits you need to release. Certain things in your home that subtly shift your heart away from God's voice. This isn't about shame. It's about realigning your spirit with what brings peace. If something consistently leaves you feeling empty, angry, numb, or restless, it's worth laying it down. Replace it with something that lifts you up. Replace it with silence that allows prayer, with music that invites joy, with conversation that invites truth. Start praying over your doors. Speak blessings in your hallways. Thank God for your windows and ask Him to let light fill every dark corner. Touch your walls and ask Him to let them hold peace, not pain. These small acts matter. They are not strange. They are sacred. They are declarations that this house, this space, this life, belongs to the Lord. He doesn't just want to visit your home. He wants to remain in it. He wants your children to feel His love in the air they breathe. He wants your relationships to be seasoned with kindness, not conflict. He wants the very ground of your home to feel safe, warm, and unshakable. And He can do it. He really can. He can transform things that feel beyond fixing. He can heal wounds that you've stopped mentioning. He can soften hearts that have grown cold. But He needs one thing, your yes. Not a perfect yes. Just a willing one. Just enough room for Him to come in and do what only He can do. Let Him have that space today. Don't put it off. The peace you're longing for isn't found in the world's answers. It's not in busyness, or distraction, or escape. It's found in His presence. It's found in surrender. It's found in a quiet heart that says, "God, I want you to be the center of this home." Type 2323 if you agree God is calling you gently. You see, the presence of God is not always loud. It doesn't always arrive with fireworks or fanfare. More often, it walks in gently, like the early morning sun rising into a dark room. It does not force its way in. It waits for an open window, a cracked door, a soft whisper of surrender. And when it's welcomed, it fills everything it touches with warmth and life. Right now, the Lord is leaning close, His heart wide open toward yours, longing for you to let Him back into the center of your home. Not just into your Sunday mornings or your moments of desperation, but into the normal, everyday space where you live and breathe. Into the conversations you have in the hallway, the dinners that are rushed, the nights when silence feels heavy. He wants to live there with you, to make your ordinary holy. Sometimes, we get so used to the noise of life, the clutter, the routines, that we forget to notice what's missing. We forget to ask if peace still lives in our home. We forget to check if joy is still rooted in the rooms where our children sleep or where we lay our heads at night. But God remembers. He remembers what your home once felt like when love was fresh, when hope was strong, when laughter came easy. He knows what changed. He knows what entered that shouldn't have, what was tolerated too long, what spiritual dust settled over time. Maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe it crept in slowly, through unchecked bitterness, unspoken hurt, harsh words, or just spiritual neglect. But no matter how it came, He wants to help you clear it out. Because what's at stake isn't just comfort. It's your peace. It's the emotional and spiritual health of your home. It's the unseen covering over your family. God doesn't just want to patch up the holes. He wants to restore what the enemy has tried to weaken. He wants to pour oil on the wounds. He wants your home to feel safe again, spiritually alive again, full of light again. Type 2020 to claim miracles inside your home. There are things you've been carrying alone, burdens that feel invisible but grow heavier each day. Maybe it's the way you walk from room to room feeling disconnected. Maybe it's the coldness that settled in certain relationships. Maybe it's the weight of financial pressure, the unspoken fear of the future, the exhaustion that keeps building with no end in sight. God sees it. He's not distant from it. He's been trying to get your attention, not to punish, but to pull you close. Do you know, inside your brain is a small region linked to wealth and success, once buried in restricted research and hidden in CIA files. This newly revealed frequency is helping people replace stress with financial ease, and God has guided you here. Click the link in the description and comments to activate this hidden brain wave now. You may have been relying on your own strength. You may have told yourself, if I just work harder, if I just stay strong, I can fix it. But the truth is, no amount of striving can do what surrender can. What you fix with your hands might break again. But what God heals with His Spirit becomes whole in a way that no one can take away. Invite Him to walk with you through every part of your home. Begin to see your space not just with natural eyes, but with spiritual eyes. Look at your bedroom and ask, is this a place of rest or of restless thoughts? Look at your dining area and ask, is this a place of connection or just routine? Look at the faces of those who live with you and ask, have we made room for God to dwell among us? It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about choosing, today, to begin a new pattern. A pattern of prayer in the morning, even if short. A pattern of speaking blessings over your children, even if quietly. A pattern of setting aside time to thank God aloud, even if it's while you cook or fold laundry. These small moments, repeated in faith, create a new rhythm, a holy rhythm, that fills your home with light. Even if others in your house don't yet understand. Even if they're not ready. Don't stop. Your obedience is not in vain. Your prayers are planting seeds. Your faith is building an altar that God honors. You may not see it right away, but heaven sees it. Angels surround homes that welcome God. Miracles visit places that are prepared with faith. Let His presence soften your words. Let it guide your actions. Let it settle your nerves and remind you that you're not doing this alone. God doesn't just want to help you survive your days, He wants you to live them in fullness. He wants your home to echo with joy, not just get by with noise. He wants your home to shine with His peace, not just hide the mess behind closed doors. Even if tears come when you pray, let them fall. God bottles every one. Even if your voice shakes when you ask Him for help, speak anyway. He hears every word. Even if you feel undeserving, approach Him anyway. He's not waiting for your perfection, He's waiting for your invitation. This moment right now, where you're listening, where you're reading, where you're softening, this is sacred. This is what God has been longing for. Not for you to fix everything, but for you to turn your heart toward Him and say, God, come in. This is your home too. And He will come. He always does. The one who turned water into wine, who calmed storms with His words, who healed with a touch, He is the same one who can heal the storm inside your home. Trust Him. Welcome Him. Let this be the day your home begins to breathe again. Type Amen if you believe God is near and speaking to you now. Sometimes we learn to live with unrest. We accept the heaviness in the air as normal. We tell ourselves it's just life, just stress, just how things are. But deep down, you know something's off. You know the joy doesn't flow like it used to. You can feel the tension when you walk into certain rooms. You can sense the weight pressing against the windows like a storm that never leaves. And yet, in the midst of that storm, there is a whisper, God's voice calling you not to run, not to give up, but to come close. To let Him walk into the places that feel spiritually dry, emotionally cold, or quietly broken. Because where God enters, peace follows. Where His Spirit dwells, chains fall. Where His name is lifted, healing begins. This home of yours has seen so much, laughter and tears, celebrations and pain, silence and shouting. But God wants to give it more than memories. He wants to give it meaning. He wants your home to reflect His heart, not just look good on the outside, but be a dwelling place of light, of kindness, of truth, of lasting faith. Sometimes, all it takes is one moment. One step. One whisper of surrender. Lord, this home is yours. Do what I cannot do. And He begins. Not always with a loud change, but often in the unseen corners. He begins with your heart, softening what has been hard, healing what has been hidden. He begins with your words, shifting them from sharpness to gentleness. He begins with your mind, calming the thoughts that race at night and leave you feeling unworthy. You don't have to do it alone. You never were meant to. You don't need to perform for God, or prove yourself to Him. He knows you. He understands your pain, your frustration, your longing to be enough. And He meets you right there, with no conditions but love. Type 222 if you welcome God's healing inside your home. God is not just after big gestures. He's looking for faith in the little things. When you light a candle and pray. When you set aside time to speak His name in your house. When you say no to bitterness and yes to grace, even when it's hard. These moments matter. They echo through the walls of your home louder than you realize. When God takes hold of a home, things begin to shift. Children feel safer. Spouses speak more gently. Meals feel sacred. Even silence becomes comforting instead of cold. There is power in the presence of God, and that power can rest upon your house, guiding it, shaping it, blessing it. Financial freedom is not about effort, but activating a hidden brain signal once buried in CIA files. Neuroscience shows this sound wave helps attract money and opportunity faster, and thousands are already seeing unexpected income. Click the link in the description and comments now to activate the ancient money wave today. But to allow Him in, you must release the things that don't belong. Maybe it's a pattern of speaking that needs to be broken, anger, sarcasm, impatience. Maybe it's an addiction that's quietly eating away at peace. Maybe it's fear that has made decisions for too long. Or shame that still lingers from past mistakes. Whatever it is, you don't have to carry it anymore. You can place it at the feet of Jesus. You can say, "Lord, I can't carry this, but I know you can." And He will. He will take it with kindness. He will remove it with gentleness. He will replace it with freedom. It doesn't matter how long the pain has lingered. It doesn't matter how deep the wounds go. The love of Christ reaches further than your pain. The hand of God touches deeper than your wounds. He's not limited by your past, and He's not afraid of your present. He is the God who restores, renews, revives. There is a reason this message found you today. There's a reason something in your spirit feels stirred. God doesn't waste moments. When He speaks, it's with purpose. And today, His purpose is healing. His purpose is restoration. His purpose is to gently walk into your home and say, "This is where my peace will stay." But He won't force His way in. He never does. He waits to be invited. He waits for that moment when you open the door and say, "God, come in fully." Not just when I need you, but always. Not just in emergencies, but in every ordinary hour. He wants to stay. He wants to move through the halls of your home like a song of grace. He wants to sit with you when you're tired and speak truth when you're unsure. He wants to be the center of your conversations, your plans, your decisions. This isn't about changing everything in one day. This is about opening the door, just a little wider today than you did yesterday. It's about trusting Him with your home, your heart, your future. It's about believing that what has felt impossible for years can start changing in one quiet act of surrender. Let him in. Let him replace the tension with gentleness. Let him restore the love that feels buried. Let him breathe life into the parts of your family that feel dry. Let him remind you that your home was always meant to be a place where he could dwell, where peace could flourish, where hope could rise again. He sees the quiet longing in your heart for peace, for stability, for something sacred to return to your home. And he's whispering again today, let me in. Let me help you begin again. Type 1111 if you trust in God's timing and presence. Every home has a rhythm. A flow of energy, a pattern of voices, a feeling that rises with the morning and settles with the night. And over time, that rhythm begins to shape the people living in it. If the rhythm is filled with love, with prayer, with patience, then peace begins to grow. But if the rhythm is built on stress, bitterness, distraction, or silence, it slowly erodes the spiritual walls that once protected the heart of the home. God is reaching out to realign that rhythm. To bring His peace back to your mornings, His joy into your routines, His truth into your conversations. He doesn't want to be a guest in your house, He wants to be the foundation. When the Lord becomes the heartbeat of your home, things shift in ways you never expected. You begin to feel lighter without knowing why. You begin to speak softer without effort. You begin to trust more, even when nothing around you seems certain. And that's because His presence changes everything. It's not just about praying before meals or putting a Bible on the shelf. It's about welcoming Him into every corner of your home, the parts that shine and the parts you try to hide. He already knows what's behind every door, every hurt, every sigh you breathe when you're overwhelmed. And still, He waits, ready to bring healing, not judgment. Restoration, not guilt. Maybe your home once felt full of faith, but somewhere along the way, distractions took over. Maybe you remember times when joy flowed freely, but now the rooms feel quiet, heavy, distant. That doesn't mean it's over. That doesn't mean it can't be restored. In fact, it means now is the time to lean in even closer, to invite the Spirit of God back to the center, and to start building again, not from what was lost, but from what is still possible. Type 1717 if you're ready to start building again with God. You don't need to be the perfect parent, partner, or person. You just need to be willing. Willing to let love speak first. Willing to turn down the volume of the world so you can hear God's whisper. Willing to stand in the middle of your living room, close your eyes, and say, God, take this space. Make it yours. And He will. He will begin by calming your spirit. He will remind you that even if you've made mistakes, He still chooses you to carry His peace. He still calls you worthy of His guidance. Then, one by one, He will bring clarity. He will show you what needs to leave your home so that peace can stay. He'll reveal habits that need changing, conversations that need healing, boundaries that need setting, not as burdens, but as pathways to freedom. And in time, your home will start to feel different. You'll notice warmth where there once was tension. You'll hear laughter where there was silence. You'll feel unity rising again, not because everything is perfect, but because everything is being surrendered. That's what brings true harmony, not control, but trust. Not perfection, but presence. Let Him be the one who watches over your doorposts. Let Him be the one who guards your heart and those you love. Let Him take authority over fear, over sickness, over confusion. The name of Jesus holds power, and when it's spoken with sincerity inside your home, darkness has to leave. Worry loses its grip. Hope takes its place. A 7-second brain-wave ritual, once reserved for elite people and hidden in CIA files, is now public, and people call it the 30-second miracle. Scientists say it awakens a dormant brain center tied to wealth and blessings. Click the link in the comments below before it's deleted again from the internet. This doesn't mean trials won't come. Life still brings its weight. But when your home is centered in Christ, those storms won't shake the foundation. You'll be anchored. You'll find your peace not in what you have, but in who holds it all. If you've been feeling like your house is just a place to exist, God wants to turn it into a place where your soul can rest. A place of worship, even in the ordinary. A place of grace, even when things feel messy. A place of belonging, even when the world feels distant and cold. Let your prayers fill the rooms. Let your faith decorate the atmosphere. Let your hope echo through your words. You don't need wealth to create a sacred home. You need willingness. You need surrender. And most of all, you need Jesus at the center. He will teach you how to speak love even in disagreement. He will help you slow down when life pushes you to rush. He will remind you that every child, every guest, every quiet night and every noisy morning is a chance to grow something holy. Because when God is truly invited in, nothing stays the same. The home becomes a place of healing, not just for you, but for others too. Friends who walk in will feel peace before you say a word. Children will remember the love that lived there long after they grow up. The presence of God leaves a mark, a fragrance of goodness, a lasting imprint of comfort. And that's what your home is meant to be, not just a shelter, but a light. A place where heaven feels close. Where faith is not just spoken, but lived. Where forgiveness flows freely, and grace is never withheld. You are not too late. You are not too broken. And your home is not beyond redemption. God has already seen the beauty He plans to restore. He's already working, even now, preparing a shift in the spiritual atmosphere. All He's waiting for is your yes. That's it. Just a yes. A whisper. A moment of surrender. He's here, softly nudging your heart, reminding you that the home you live in is sacred ground, and it's time to return to what matters most. Type 777 if you believe your home is ready for God's healing hand. Every home tells a story. Not through its walls or furniture, but through its atmosphere. The air in your home carries the memories of conversations, the weight of emotions, and the energy of how you live each day. It holds the echoes of laughter and tears, of silence that lingers after arguments, of prayers whispered into pillows. And God, in His loving awareness, knows the full story your home has lived through. He knows the moments no one else knows about, the times you wanted to walk out and never return, the times you cried in the shower so no one would hear, the nights you sat awake in the dark, asking for something to change. And He has not ignored one of those cries. He's been watching with a heart that longs to bring healing, not punishment. Comfort, not shame. You may have been trying to hold everything together, working hard to keep peace, to stay strong, to not let others see the cracks. But the Lord never asked you to carry this burden alone. He is strong where you feel weak, present where you feel alone, and steady where everything feels unstable. His invitation is simple: let Him carry what's been breaking you inside. Sometimes, what breaks us is not one big event, but the slow buildup of many small things, the daily frustrations, the words spoken in anger, the distance that grows between hearts, the pressure to pretend everything is okay. Over time, these things steal the joy from a home. But God can undo that. He can take even the smallest willingness and turn it into restoration. Type 999 if you believe He can restore what's been lost. When you welcome God into your home, you're not just inviting Him into a space, you're inviting Him into the rhythm of your life. He wants to be with you in the early hours when you sip coffee in quiet. He wants to walk with you through messy kitchens and long days. He wants to wrap you in peace as you tuck your children in at night, even when you're exhausted and unsure if you're doing enough. The truth is, when you begin to make room for God, everything starts to change. It's not always dramatic. Often, it's gentle, like sunlight slowly melting the frost off a window. You begin to see your home differently. You speak with more care. You notice when something feels off, not to panic, but to pray. You create moments that are rooted in truth, not just routine. And these moments matter more than you know. Reading a devotional together at the table. Playing worship music as you clean. Holding your spouse's hand and praying, even if the words are simple. Speaking blessing over your children as they head out the door. Thanking God out loud during your everyday chores. These little things anchor your home in something eternal. They welcome heaven into the ordinary. It doesn't require hours. It doesn't require perfection. Just presence. Just the awareness that God is near, and He is invited to stay. When His Spirit is in your home, conflict doesn't have the last word. Grace does. When His Spirit is in your home, fear loses its grip. Faith rises instead. When His Spirit is in your home, even the most broken relationships can begin to mend, not because you forced it, but because God moved in love. If there are things in your home that grieve your spirit, habits, media, conversations, influences, you don't have to live with them any longer. Ask God to reveal them to you. He will never expose something to shame you. He shows you to free you. He reveals what needs to go so that peace can fully enter. And once you begin to clear those things out, space is created, for joy, for clarity, for love to flourish again. A 7-second brainwave ritual uncovered from sealed records and hidden in CIA files is transforming financial lives. It activates a forgotten abundance channel in the brain, leading to new financial opportunities and cleared debts. Click the link in the comments below before it disappears. Maybe you need to forgive someone in your home. Maybe it's been years of resentment, and you don't even know where to start. Start by praying. Start by saying, God, help me let go. You don't have to figure it all out. Just begin. He will soften what has grown hard. He will bridge what feels too distant. Maybe you feel like the only person in your home who's walking in faith. That's not a small thing. That makes you a light. Don't underestimate the power of your prayers, your peace, your consistency. One heart surrendered to God can impact every soul under your roof. Even if they don't see it now, God is working. He honors faithfulness. He moves through love. Let Him be your strength. Let Him fill your rooms with a peace that stays. Let Him bring clarity where there's confusion, warmth where there's coldness, and laughter where there's been silence for too long. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need the perfect house or the perfect words. You only need an open heart and the willingness to say, "Jesus, be at the center of this home." And from that moment, He begins to dwell. Not as a visitor, but as your foundation. He walks with you from room to room. He brings fresh wind into weary spaces. He revives what felt lifeless. He speaks softly into the places you've hidden away. And He reminds you, you're not alone, and your home is not forgotten. God has been watching over your home even when you thought no one saw. In the moments when the walls seemed to close in and you questioned how much more you could take, He was there. When you quietly cried while folding laundry, when you felt unseen while doing your best to hold everyone together, when your thoughts raced at night and you had no one to tell, He listened. Every breath you took in tired faith was heard in heaven. He's not calling you to pretend anymore. He's calling you to peace. Not the kind of peace that the world offers, which depends on circumstances, but the deep kind, the peace that reaches your soul and settles the unrest inside your heart and home. It doesn't take much to begin. Just a whisper. Just a moment of saying, "God, I need you here." That single act, spoken honestly, moves heaven closer to your living room than you could ever imagine. And when God enters a home, even through a whisper, things begin to soften. Not just the tension in the air, but the pressure in your chest, the sharpness in your voice, the worry in your mind. His Spirit is gentle, like oil poured over dry soil, making hard places tender again. Sometimes the hardest part is not what's happening in your home, but what hasn't happened yet, the prayers unanswered, the dreams delayed, the changes you've waited years to see. But God wants you to know that He is not finished. He is still working. Even when you can't see the shift, He's preparing the soil of your home to grow new things. Type 888 if you believe the new season is near. You may have walked through seasons where your house felt full of noise but empty of peace. Where routines replaced connection and where the spark in your relationships faded into mere survival. You didn't mean for it to happen. Life moved fast, pressure built, and slowly your home became a place where emotions were held in instead of shared, where comfort was replaced by caution. But it doesn't have to stay that way. God is not interested in condemning what went wrong. He is more interested in rewriting the story with you. He is the God who brings beauty from ashes, and that includes the ashes of broken trust, miscommunication, and spiritual fatigue. Even if your home has been quiet in faith, even if you feel like the only one who's still holding on, He is honoring that. He is pouring grace over that. He's turning even the smallest mustard seed of belief into a doorway for His presence. So where do you begin when things feel so far gone? You begin in stillness. You begin by welcoming him back into the moments you forgot he wanted to be part of. Invite him into your morning silence, your daily busyness, your late-night worries. You don't need perfect words. You don't need hours of prayer. Just intention. Just heart. Just a few sacred seconds to say, God, this is your space again. From there, the healing begins. You'll start to notice where joy slipped out so quietly that you didn't even realize it had left. You'll start to hear his voice in the quiet moments, in the way the sunlight touches your floor, in the way your heart softens during a conversation, in the way you suddenly feel less alone.